Welcome back. Today I feel like talking about the Kel-Tec Sub 2000 again. My last video got a few views, but it seems like not really a lot of people really like or agree too much with what I have to say about it. Wasn't really any comments so far, but I get the feeling like people maybe don't really like what I had to say about the Kel-Tec. Let me start off first by saying that I actually do like Kel-Tec as a company. I think they're the only gun company right now that's actually really trying to innovate the firearms industry, and I really like that. I appreciate that. However, saying that, I think that they are still up for criticism where it needs to be. I'm not just tearing apart this rifle just for fun. I did a view on my Kel-Tec KSG, which I think is a very underrated shotgun. If you don't know about that, you can go look at that video. I'll leave a link in the comments. However, there's some few things about this little rifle that a lot of people, I think, are really expecting more than what it is. It's an affordable 9mm carbine rifle is really all it is. It's $300–400, maybe pre-pandemic, but that's beside the point. It's really just an affordable 9mm carbine. It's not something that's going to replace like an MP5. It's not some sort of survival rifle. As a matter of fact, this thing is much too flimsy. The steel is nowhere near strong enough in the places it needs to be. And the polymer is okay. However, I feel like I could probably break this thing by snapping it between my thigh, and that's really it. It works, I'll give it that. It's just not what I think a lot of people out there are trying to make this little rifle to be. It's not a do-all thing. Use it in your truck for self-defense. If it gets stolen, hey, you're only out $300–400. Is it going to be reliable enough for that duty? Probably not. I think you'd be better off with like a SIG or a Glock or H&K pistol. One of my biggest criticisms for this actually, I think, has to do with the overall length of this. Now, it isn't super over length, but I think you could really compress this 9mm carbine down in a much smaller package. First off, we have a 16-inch barrel on this. Now, the only reason why this rifle has a 16-inch barrel is to make it a rifle, legally a rifle. That's the only reason. You don't actually really need any 16-inch barrel on any 9mm rifle or pistol or anything, because you're not really getting that much performance out of a 9mm. Sure, you're going to get a little bit more velocity out of a 16-inch versus a 5-inch 9mm. However, I don't really see that as being a huge contributing factor. You're not really getting that much more velocity. You're really just getting all this barrel real estate that you don't need. I really wish Kel-Tec would come out with a design for this, which I think they actually have the one with the built-in suppressor, I believe, is a SBR. I don't believe it actually is a pistol. I might be wrong about that, but I do know you do need to follow the tax stamp for that one because it does have a built-in suppressor, I believe. I wish what Kel-Tec would do is put a pistol brace on something like this and then just shorten the barrel. Give us something like a 5 to 10 inch barrel, I think, is really all you need with a 9mm. And you could greatly reduce this rifle's length almost by 1/3. I think that'd be great. Another upgrade I think they need to make is the trigger. The trigger is terrible. If you don't know, you can see my last video. Trigger is god awful. Let me just show you. Now, it's not the worst trigger I've ever dealt with, but you get all this take up before you hit a wall. There's really barely any actual resistance here. Now we're running into resistance. Now again, this is only a $300–400 gun, so this is actually a decent trigger for that price. but I really rather pay an extra maybe $50 to $100 just to have a better trigger. Just not great. Again, it's okay for the price point it's made at. I wish that they maybe put in a better trigger, which they did make a better trigger. There is an aftermarket trigger you can put on this, which I wish that they would just include it and up the price a little bit, because it really needs a better trigger job. Another thing is the sights. Again, I criticize the sights because, well, they hold zero, they work, but let's be honest, we want to put probably like a small red dot on something like this. We don't really want iron sights. Again, this thing isn't some sort of survivalist rifle. It's not something frogmen are going to jump in Iraq with. It's really a fun range toy for the most part. Or even truck gun. Leave it in the back of your truck. You want to go out with your buddies to the mountains or desert or wherever you live and pull out and shoot off a couple 9mm. This is the gun to maybe do that, because you're not going to feel bad if it breaks or you lose it. It's not a super affordable rifle. I also criticize the foldingness of this. Again, this feels kind of gimmicky. One thing is, you're not going to walk around and carry this. It's not manageable to carry it this way. You might as well just have it folded all the way out. You're going to get a lot of debris in here if you try to go out in the wilderness with it like this, unless if you have it in a backpack or have it in something. That's the only time I could actually see this being useful. Besides that, it feels gimmicky. Honestly, I'd rather them sell a KSG with just the barrel fixed into it instead of having this fullness. I don't really care for it. I really rather have it, like I said in my last video, a Picatinny rail traveling all the way back here. I like to have rail space back in that area. Still, for the money, it is a decent rifle. Just don't go picking up this thing thinking that it's something more than it is. It's not. It's a decent budget 9mm carbine. It's not replacing like an MP5 or any other pistol, submachine gun, which that'd be really cool if they did make a full auto version of this. I wonder how that actually handle. They'd probably actually need to put on a nicer barrel, because this is really just a basic barrel. I'm not sure what kind of steel this is. I'm going to go out on a limb and just say it's probably around 4140. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on it. Go look it up yourself. But it's probably something around that maybe. Again, the front sight likes to canter sometimes. I've noticed that I banged it against something one time out shooting, and it did actually bend to the side, which was kind of annoying. I bend it back and it holds zero, but you're probably not going to hit anything out past 100 yards, 150 yards with this little rifle. It's not going to be the most accurate thing in the world. Sights aren't that great, but for the money, I can say it's worth it for the money. However, don't go buying this thinking it's going to be your apocalypse gun or anything like that. It's not a survival rifle. Go buy something that's a little bit more durable, something that's not going to break. If you have ever been out to the wild, you know that the woods it's a very chaotic place out there. It's very rugged, you know, things break very easily. If you've ever been out just camping, and I'm talking about camping, not just going to some campsite where everybody hooks up their RVs and trailers and sits inside all day and watches TV. I'm talking about actually going and spending the night out in the middle of nowhere in a tent. Something like this, probably not going to last, but if you do bring it and it breaks, you're not going to feel too bad. Or if you lose it, because that can always happen. So don't bring something overly ambitious. Maybe bring something a little bit nicer than this. I don't know. It's really up to an individual choice, I think. But overall, I'd say this is a decent rifle for the money. Again, I think there's a lot of upgrades that Kel-Tec can make to this. I think there are some places where they slag to try and keep the cost down. I'm not a big fan of some of the things that it seems like they pull back on. I criticized one more thing before I sign off. I criticized the feed ramp in here. See it right there. Feed ramp is polymer. Why make that out of polymer? That's where the cartridges are going to ride before they go into the chamber. That's going to take a beating. They do sell an aftermarket one, which I wish they would have just included. I mean, the aftermarket one's like 30 bucks. I think that's a little bit too much, but I don't know. They really want to make money, I guess. I wish they would have just upped the price on this thing 20, 30 bucks and already included and threw away the polymer one. Anyway, that's my review on, well, my extended review on the Kel-Tec KSG. Again, don't hate Kel-Tec, have nothing against them. Like Kel-Tec as a company, but I think they could make some improvements to this little rifle. Again, check out my other videos if you're looking for some more information about the Kel-Tec KSG or Kel-Tec Sub 2000. My bad. It's been a long day. Anyway, thank you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.